Growing speculation that Meghan Markle went under the knife before her Paris disaster trip.
Today we're going to start with Meghan Markle. She's been in the news recently. She's kind of always in the news. I think she's a very attractive biracial girl or woman.
Hollywood runs on glow-ups, hidden makeovers, and tight-lipped secrets, and even the most polished image can crack in one brutal second. The Duchess of Sussex, once the most photographed woman on the planet, spent years shaping every smile, every angle, every public moment like it was a flawless brand shoot. But when the filters fall and the lights fade, the truth hits hard, and according to people working on her new documentary, things blew up this week in a way no one expected.
She increased her breast size, and most likely due to breast augmentation. And then, interesting with her and someone in general, she decided to take them out probably because then we see that they shrunk back down again. And again, unless you're doing, lifts and different things or...
A leaked moment sent social media into full meltdown, and insiders whispered that the Duchess's reaction was nothing short of explosive. It all started with a private consultation gone wrong. A top-tier plastic surgeon, known for shaping the faces of Hollywood's elite, accidentally shared photos that were never meant for the public. These images, raw, unfiltered, behind-the-scenes snaps, were described by insiders as showing a real, unpolished version of the Duchess that only her closest circle usually sees. She's always in control, one insider said. But these photos, they weren't meant for anyone but her inner circle. They were supposed to stay locked away, and when they leaked, everything got messy fast. The second the photos hit the internet, they took off like a storm. Within hours, they were trending across every major platform: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, hashtags multiplying faster than anyone could track. Meghan Unfiltered, royal reality check, Chador behind. The facade exploded across feeds like fireworks. Sources say the Duchess was straight up furious when she heard about the leak.
Flatter nasal bridge, a broad nasal base, and some tip bulbosity. At the age of 24,
she didn't shrug it off or stay calm. No, she went into full panic mode. One insider explained that phones were flying, staff were scrambling, and security was immediately on high alert. The leaked shots allegedly showed her with no makeup, caught in natural light, looking fully human. No posing, no guard up, no glam shield. And for someone whose entire public image has been built around flawless presentation, that type of exposure hits different. She was in tears.
I just want to show you. So this was her in D.C. Giving this speech at the, I'm stalling because I have the name here. What was it? It was called Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit.
Another source revealed, not just because her privacy had been breached, but because it felt like the world suddenly saw a side of her she had worked hard to protect. Overnight, millions had access to moments she never expected anyone outside her home to witness. And of course, Hollywood reacted instantly. Reporters speculated, social media analysts argued, meme creators worked non-stop, and the frenzy grew louder. Articles popped up everywhere. Meghan exposed. The unfiltered photos everyone's talking about. From glam to real, Duchess's candid shots, spark online frenzy, royal or human, how Meghan's unfiltered pics are shocking the internet. It was chaos, and the media loved every second of it. Even late-night hosts jumped in. One joked, "Looks like the Duchess just found out the camera in Hollywood sometimes sees more than you planned." The leak created shockwaves behind closed doors too. Advisors, stylists, and PR pros rushed into full emergency mode, begging platforms for takedowns, pushing rapid removals, and trying to grab back control of the story. Those who saw the photos said they weren't scandalous. Nothing risky, nothing inappropriate. Instead, they showed her in rare vulnerability, natural skin texture, candid expressions, mid-thought moments, relaxed poses in her own home. For someone whose image has been curated with military-level precision, seeing herself this exposed was jarring, not only for fans, but for the Duchess herself. She wasn't ugly or unpresentable, an insider clarified. She just looked human, and for her, that was a shock, because her entire world runs on control, beauty, and perfect presentation. Right after the leak, her team went into full-blown crisis mode. Sources say private meetings were held inside her estate and on encrypted video calls. The mission was clear: contain the spread and protect the brand. Lawyers, PR experts, social media strategists, everyone was pulled in instantly. One insider explained they weren't just fighting the leak itself, but the storyline it could create. But then the team noticed something surprising. The public wasn't entirely negative. Critics mocked, yes, but supporters defended her fiercely. Some comments said, "Finally, we see the real you," while others shouted, "This is disrespectful." The reaction was wild, unpredictable, and everywhere at once. Inside her private rooms, the Duchess went through a roller coaster of emotions: shock, anger, sadness, and finally, a fierce determination. By the third hour, she was already calling her tightest advisors. One source said they were debating strategy. Should she speak? Should she stay quiet? How could she take back control of her image? Some insiders claimed she almost released a public statement, but no official comment appeared at the time. Instead, she focused on shaping her response with precision, balancing vulnerability with strength. She wanted the world to see that she could stand firm through all of this. One source said she didn't want people thinking she was aiming for perfection, only that she wasn't about to fall apart under pressure. In Hollywood, reputation can make or break a career, and a leak of this magnitude can either collapse everything or transform it into something new. Producers who had been waiting to launch projects with her reportedly rushed into emergency meetings. "Do we pause production?" one executive asked. "Do we wait for this storm to pass, or do we turn it into something that works for us?" Some teams saw an unexpected opening. Reality shows and documentaries thrive on raw, unfiltered material, and a few insiders joked quietly that this situation could turn into the best PR twist of her entire career if handled correctly. But others were cautious, warning that this kind of exposure is unpredictable. Too many voices, too many opinions. Online, the line between compassion and cruelty is almost invisible.
But your third date?
We met in Botswana and we camped for 5 days together.
People lift you up or tear you down, a veteran Hollywood consultant said. And right now, she's walking that line with no shield, exposed and under intense scrutiny. Social media metrics confirmed the impact. Hashtags skyrocketed globally within minutes. Fans poured out reactions across TikTok and Instagram. Commentary creators analysed every detail. Even mainstream news outlets joined in, discussing not just the photos but the deeper conversation around celebrity pressure, privacy, and how the public consumes the flaws of famous figures. "People are obsessed because they think they know her," one online commentator said. But this time, they got a glimpse of something real. The version of her that only exists behind closed doors. Imperfect, human, unguarded. For the Duchess, insiders said the leak felt bigger than a PR issue. It pushed her into an emotional reckoning she wasn't prepared for. "She's used to being in control," one source said. But when something slips out in a way she can't prevent, it shakes her deeply. Those close to her described sleepless nights, anxiety, long hours reviewing footage, reading comments, and debating every possible move. The emotional exhaustion wasn't just about tears. It was the heavy sense of having her privacy cracked open. And hanging over everything was one major question. Would she let this moment define her comeback, or would she twist it into something powerful? Hollywood insiders were divided. Some believed authenticity could finally work in her favor. Others warned that the scrutiny was too intense, too brutal, too fast to recover smoothly. But one thing was certain to everyone watching: this story was far from finished. The Duchess had survived media chaos before. She'd reinvented her public identity more than once. And now, as these unfiltered images swept across the world, she was once again standing at a crossroads, vulnerable, human, and watched by millions. The biggest question hung heavy in the air. Would this leak crush her comeback or become the fuel for her reinvention? And as the dust settled, it became clear that the world wasn't just watching. They were waiting for her next move. The day after the leak, Hollywood woke up to a storm unlike anything it had seen in years. Studio executives gathered in glass-walled offices, gripping coffee like a lifeline as tweets, Instagram posts, and TikTok reactions flooded timelines. Every corner of the industry buzzed with speculation, criticism, and even unexpected pockets of sympathy. "She's in the center of a perfect storm," one insider said, "and nobody knows which direction it's going to spin." For the streaming platform backing her newest series, the leak was a nightmare. Executives debated whether to push the release date back, re-edit key scenes, or scrap the project entirely. "We need to consider the optics," an unnamed producer warned. the audience is unpredictable. One wrong decision and the whole thing collapses before it even launches. Talent agencies were just as cautious. Some directors quietly pulled out of upcoming collaborations. Agents warned clients to avoid on-set interactions, worried that being seen with her might complicate public perception. Yet others saw opportunity. Reality TV thrives on vulnerability, and some insiders whispered that this scandal, explosive as it was, might actually attract more viewers if handled carefully. Online, the frenzy was unmatched. #Meghan Unfiltered held the top spot for days. Clips, screenshots, and GIFs from the leaked images spread like wildfire. YouTube channels dissected every second. Twitter threads erupted with theories, critiques, and emotional takes. Some comments were supportive. Finally, she looks like a real person. It's okay to be human. Don't let them tear you down. Others were harsh. She's not royalty here. She's reality TV waiting to happen. All that money and she still cries over pictures? The divide revealed a new reality. People weren't just fascinated by her image, but by her vulnerability. Hollywood insiders, late-night hosts, and entertainment journalists weighed in. One late-night host joked, "Looks like she just learned that even in Hollywood, the camera catches what Photoshop can't hide." Meanwhile, several actresses sent subtle support online, tweeting messages like, "Vulnerability is strength," and "Anyone criticizing her has no idea what public pressure feels like." This split made the fallout even more unpredictable. For the first time, her image wasn't just being shaped by tabloids, it was being debated by the entire entertainment industry. Could she turn this into a moment of strength, or would it permanently brand her as fragile, overpolished, and too controlled? Inside her private space, the Duchess reportedly spent hours examining every leaked image, scrolling through reactions, and planning her next move. "She's strategic," one insider said, "but she's also human. She cried, she vented to her closest aides, and then she plotted. Every move she makes now is calculated with precision." Friends close to her describe a woman exhausted but unwavering, someone pushing through fatigue because the stakes feel higher than ever. Sources say she refused to release a rushed or emotional statement, insisting that any public response must carry the authenticity that once made her brand powerful. She wants the narrative back in her hands, one confidant explained. She doesn't want to fight the leak head-on. She wants to transform it. In the weeks that followed, the media storm didn't simply continue, it evolved. Entertainment shows ran daily segments titled "Meghan vs. The Leak," "Hollywood Reacts," "Unfiltered and Unstoppable," and "Royal or Reality." Analysts broke down every expression, every lighting detail, every frame. The unfiltered images, instead of fading, became a persistent cultural talking point. Some outlets framed the situation as a cautionary reminder of Hollywood's impossible beauty standards. Others treated it like a scandalous backstage pass into a world polished to perfection. "This isn't just a leak," one columnist argued. "It's a narrative turning point, the collision between Meghan's carefully crafted image and the raw truth underneath." Brand partnerships that once lined up enthusiastically grew cautious. Luxury designers paused campaigns. Endorsement deals were re-evaluated. Even scheduled social media collaborations were quietly delayed. But inside the chaos, her team noticed something unexpected. Authenticity was resonating. "Authenticity sells," marketing strategists advised, pushing the idea that Meghan could emerge stronger by embracing vulnerability. "Think of it like a phoenix rising," one PR expert reportedly said. "It's not about the fall, it's about the rebirth." Still, the strategy required precision. One wrong step could push the public toward mockery instead of admiration. The reaction remained sharply divided. Supporters praised her humanity. "This is why I admire her. She's brave enough to be real. She's not perfect. And that's why people relate." Critics, however, showed no mercy. Why should anyone pity someone crying over photos? Hollywood is full of stars. Grow up. The leak quickly grew beyond a simple incident. It became a cultural conversation about celebrity fragility, the pressures of public scrutiny, and society's obsession with flawlessness. Hollywood insiders said her future could splinter in two directions: fade away quietly. The scandal could cling to her image, limit opportunities, and make studios hesitant. Investors might back off. The public might shift their attention elsewhere. Reinvention and resurgence. She could seize the moment, reclaim the narrative, and rebuild her image around honesty, strength, and resilience. Hollywood loves a comeback story, one producer noted. If she plays this right, it could be her biggest return yet. If not, it might mean years behind the curtain. The Duchess reportedly began assembling a multi-layered strategy with her closest advisors. Social media posts were timed with precision. Select interviews were granted to trusted journalists. New content was developed that highlighted her humor, empathy, and humanitarian work, reminding the public of the person behind the headlines. She knows this leak could define her legacy, a source said. She refuses to let it. At this moment, the ending remains unwritten. The unfiltered photos challenged her carefully sculpted public persona, tested her emotional strength, and ignited a global discussion. Will she fade into a cautionary tale about vulnerability in the spotlight? Or will she craft one of Hollywood's most unexpected reinventions, turning a leak into a symbol of courage, authenticity, and renewed influence? One thing is certain: the world is watching. The cameras, the critics, the supporters, and the skeptics are all waiting for her next step. In the high-stakes arena of fame, every reaction, every appearance, every carefully chosen word matters. Meghan's story is no longer about glamour or royalty. It is about resilience in the face of exposure, about vulnerability in a world obsessed with perfection, and about the ultimate question every public figure must confront. Can you survive when the world sees you unfiltered? If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment for more.